nation's borders, we'll be there, love and more. Be there till on, we carry on, for nothing will stop the Army Air Force.
This is a very important moment, a very important scene, and fortunately, it's happening more and more frequently. Some of you, it may be unfamiliar, yet others of you may recognize the significance of that Army command car and the curious look on the faces of that combat crew. And among them is a young man to whom this day is one of precious remembrance and importance. Yes, that's Rear Gunner Corporal Williams, or Pee-wee as the boys call him. This is his day, but there were a lot of other days before this one, and it's worth telling about. It's quite a yarn. It all started where it started for most, right in that glass fishbowl. But what happened after that? Well, let's just track this story down.
Yes, there's always a certain quota in the Air Force for enlisted men. What branch do you feel you're qualified for, Williams?
Kind of thought I'd like to get close to one of them flying fortresses.
I see. Flying Fortress. You like the big ships?
Yes, sir.
Well, he got close to a big plane, all right. Very close. That's known as really starting from the bottom. And maybe Pee-wee and a lot of other little fellows don't feel so important, but the gunnery schools are always on the lookout for men short on height, long on ambition.
Morning, Pee-wee.
Morning. You know, Pee-wee, you look like you'd kind of fit in the inside of that fishbowl.
Well, I'd sure like to be in there, sir. I'd like to shoot a gun again, too, sir.
Ever handled one before?
Well, not one of these caliber 50s, no, sir. But I had an old shooting iron back home I used to like. I used to knock down them black killers with.
Black killers?
But, oh, them's crows. We call them black killers. They're mean birds. They used to raid the duck nest, sir. I got so that I could peg them on the wings.
Pretty good shot, huh?
Well, not bad.
Sergeant. Yes, sir? Take Pee-wee over to the skeet range. You might make a gunner. That's it. Okay, Williams. Let's go. Okay, Williams.
Oh! Was that all I have to do, hit that little thing?
That's all you have to do, so okay.
Paul!
Yes, sir. Wow.
Paul! Paul!
I like that. That's all right. Pretty straight.
Paul! Paul!
All right. Well, that's good shooting. 6 out of 6.
Williams!
Sir. Pee-wee, how'd you like to go to gunnery school?
Oh, yes, sir. I like that fire.
There they go, embryo marksmen of the skies. Those fellows mean business. You'll be hearing from them. They're aviation's mightiest little men. Where do they come from? From every corner of America. And here they are, student gunners at one of America's 3 vast gunnery schools. Yes, and there's Pee-wee. It's his first day, and he's on the brink of a new world.
Gentlemen, you volunteered to come to this station to learn to become combat aerial gunners. Inasmuch as there are only 210 hours of available instruction time, it will be necessary for each and every one of you to thoroughly apply yourselves to make use of every moment while you are here.
And they will be divided into small groups of 6 to 10 men. Each group will have one instructor who'll be your guide and teacher throughout the 5 weeks of this course. The job of the aerial gunner is a vital and important one. The lives of your combat crew and the success of a mission depend on your shooting ability. Your government is aware of the importance of flexible gunners in the victorious pursuit of this war. They know that the fire from your guns is the fire of freedom. Good luck. Aim well and shoot straight.
Kick, hut!
Aim well and shoot straight. That's a hot one. You know, back in Coney Island, I was a regular patsy for a shooting gallery. Used to blow all my dough trying to win a Cupid doll for my girl. My girl, she's nuts for Cupids, and I can't hit the side of a barn.
You mean you got prizes for shooting?
Certainly.
Heck. Well, back in Kansas, we didn't get nothing except maybe the pleasure of hitting down crows.
Well, at least you had to work out with a gun. Me, I'm starting from scratch. Let me tell you something, sweetheart. I'm itching to start.
Yeah, me too. I wonder how long before them classes start.
How long? Why, brother, you're starting in right now.
Now, the first thing you have to know about the caliber 30 machine gun is the nomenclature and the part functions of the gun. Now, this is your accelerator. It's the timing device for all recoiling parts. This is your cocking lever, which is your fire control. This is your driving spring. Williams, you increase the sight base. What must you do to the diameter of the ring sight in order to keep the same miles per hour reference sight?
Well, you have to increase the diameter.
Very good.
Questions and answers every day, faster than bullets. This is a class in exterior ballistics. In other words, what happens to that bullet after it's fired?
What are the 5 forces that affect the trajectory?
Propellant charge? Movement at a mount.
Air resistance?
Gravity and drift.
Now remember, men, this is a 150 mile per hour ring sight only when used with an 8-inch sight base. As you know, the sight base is the distance from the gunner's eye to the ring sight. You got that?
Pretty scientific stuff, and it's all in the first week. And there are a few other items our young gunners are learning, like bullet patterns and methods of fire. And toward the end of that first week, that itching trigger finger of Pee-wee's gets its first workout.
Squad! Halt! Give pace! Hold up!
Well, get a load of those mounted turrets. This is what they've been waiting for. But we're still in the first week, and the boys aren't ready to start firing yet. Right now, they're merely getting acquainted with the operation of the turret. They're discovering how to turn on azimuth and zenith, and where that master gun switch is. That's some workout for gunners just a week old. But they're already getting the feel of that turret, and before you can say caliber 50, they'll be veterans. And what do you think? After 2 weeks of going to school, he finds himself on the BB range. But on the second week, the boys are formally introduced to Grandpa.
There's one advantage that you men have. You've got a great gun in your hands to protect yourself. Now, don't forget that. Yes, sir, a gunner's best friend is his grandpa. Williams, how do you estimate the apparent speed of an enemy aircraft?
By the time it takes to get from the center of the ring sight to the outer edge of the ring sight.
That's right. North, what's the first thing you notice before fire?
Identify the enemy craft.
That's right.
The red flag. That means there's firing going on. Berlin and Tokyo, beware. These young marksmen are picking up the art of rapid sight alignment and the proper handling of a gun. Whoa! No country club or millionaire shooting lodge offers a finer skeet range than this one of Uncle Sam's, where gunners acquire the precision and practice of learning how to lead the target. Whoa! Gunners on wheels, trucking on down. This is the moving base range, and it's plenty tricky. A little surprise for the boys who thought they were getting to be expert shooters. With the truck rolling along in one direction and the targets flying out in a dozen different directions, well, just try it, Pee-wee. Not bad, Private Williams, not bad. Looks as if you're learning a few new twists, like getting your lead behind the target. It's a gay day and a sweet song when these lads start heading out for actual firing on moving targets, assimilating combat shooting on the ground-to-ground turrets.
Am I going to clear? Huh?
Yeah, you can get in there.
Williams, you learn in construction of sights and relative speed how to estimate your lead. Now, here's your problem. Range from mount to front track is 200 yards. Speed of the target is 30 miles an hour. What's your lead?
A quarter of an inch outside my inner ring.
Okay. Now track your target and fire on whistle.
Counting the kills, tabulating the score of each student. The bullets, dipped in different colored lithographic paints, leave their mark on the canvas, thus enabling the instructor to see how many hits the gunner has scored.
Hey, Pee Wee, get a load of my score there. Boy, if I'd had a gun like that 50 caliber, just think of the amount of Cupids I could have knocked off at Coney Island.
You can't win any Cupies in the Air Force, Penny. But if you keep on shooting like this, we'll let you get a couple of japs.
Hey, save some for the rest of us, Sarge.
Not so fast there, gunner. More ground school and study and midnight oil. But all the better to shoot well.
Sight harmonization. The adjustment of sight of the gun so that the line of sight will intersect the trajectory of the projectile at the desired range.
We're sure learning mighty fancy words.
The Whistler boys and girls are making the scientific routine.
Well, here it is, the beginning of the 4th week, and they're back on the range. But there's one difference. Up until now, the gunner has learned how to shoot under normal conditions. Now, however, on this malfunction range, he runs into trouble. He finds out what to do when things go wrong. Another precaution for the gunner's protection.
Men, in each one of these guns, we have put broken parts or damaged rounds. You will learn to determine by the action of your gun just what the malfunction is. Now remember this. The gunner in the air must be able to find the cause of a stoppage or jam with the greatest possible speed and without completely stripping his gun. Williams, charge your gun and fire.
It won't feed.
What do you think's wrong?
Don't know. Oh, the belt feed Paul won't work.
That's right. It needs a new spring. Williams, what type of aircraft is this?
Ju-87B German Stuka.
Identifying characteristics?
Fixed landing gear.
Negative, Dahito waves.
And from this side?
Square fin in the offset cockpit.
Not bad.
Yes, Pee Wee is far from that Kansas farm now. He's explored a labyrinth of technical and ballistic knowledge that makes the American aerial gunner the keenest in the world.
Hey, Benny! Benny! Come here, get out! Look!
What's with you?
Well, I just got a letter from Lieutenant Ames. He's holding a spot bullet on a B-24.
No kid. Putting you in a tail?
Yeah, he figures I kind of fit there, see? You know, that's about the best news I ever had.
You got it coming to you.
Well, you know, back around home, guys used to kid me. Well, they used to say I was the most unlikely to succeed. Well, they kidded me so much, I began to think they had something. But this letter is gonna change all that.
You said it. Why, you belong in that fishbowl like
Like corn in a husk.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. You can tell them all what time it is now.
Sure, kid.
Look, Pee Wee, I've been taking a gander at this war. Now, let me tell you something. From where I sit, from my tail seat, it's the gunner boys that are giving out with the stuff that's going to decide this plan, baby.
Well, yeah.
Of course, it's only my personal opinion, but...
Well, you know, the way I look at it, it takes all kinds of guys doing all kinds of jobs to win this war. But ours is, I figure, is a mighty big job. And by golly, it makes you feel big just to be in it.
Hey, fellas, hurry up. It's 9 o'clock. We're due out on the range for night firing.
No, this isn't a 4th of July. It's just shooting in the dark, learning the use of tracer bullets. And in case you didn't know, the object of tracer bullets is to give the gunner an idea of his accuracy and lead. Those gunners will tell you that this is fascinating stuff. Those bullets, by the way, are chemically treated so that they light up, giving the gunner a perfect preview of where his live bullets are going.
Hey, Benny!
Yeah?
Where you going on your path?
Listen, chum, after 4 weeks in this school, I'm going to realize a lifelong ambition.
Get up again. Oh, give us a break, will you, soldier? You know you're going to shoot me in the back of the
Gunners of the ground, farewell. Yes, it's the 5th and last week, and what a week. The gunner takes to the air, putting into practice everything he's learned during the past month. He's about to get a sniff of ozone at an altitude of 10,000 feet.
You gun harmonized and check, Pee-wee?
Yes, Sarge?
Properly mounted?
Right?
Yes.
Well, I'm nervous, but not scared.
Good boy.
No, they're not scared, these budding Galahads of gunnery. They're eager and anxious to get the feel of actual combat. And here, in air-to-air shooting, they get it. Approaching the tow target, the gunner's aim is leveled. This is straight beam firing, and is the first step in air-to-air shooting.
Unstow your gun. Get ready to fire when target comes into range.
Days, maneuvers become a little more elaborate. Learning relative speed firing, the plane dives for speed, and it's a keen-eyed marksman who can calculate his target with some neat and clean cross-under firing.
Williams, R.E. Congratulations, Williams.
Thank you.
Yes, this is a golden moment, a moment of proud achievement when Pee-wee Williams, along with hundreds of other gunners, gets his diploma. This diploma is his passport into the vistas of victory.
Welcome home, Pee-wee.
Thank you.
Meet the crew. Lieutenant Block. Lieutenant Doyle. Hi, Pee-wee. Good night, Sergeant.
Yes, how are you? Sure.
The fishbowl's waiting for you. One-room apartment just for you.
Well, looks like home.
All right, man, you take some men.
Realizing a long visional dream, Pee-wee, a full-fledged, flexible gunner, becomes a part of America's vast, striking air force. And he joins the valiant flyers heading for a place called Over There. But things happen thick and fast over there. And Pee-wee got his first taste of combat under fire.
1-0 approaching from the left.
Those weeks at gunnery school are flashing through his mind.
Okay, Pee-wee's all yours.
Very first mission.
You get him, Pee-wee? Well, that ain't no clay pigeon burner.
Only a few weeks in the Pacific, and Pee-wee and his brother gunners of the crew had a lot of notches in their belts. Notches for annihilating Nipponese planes. And then, one dawn, July 15th, the crew took off on a bombing mission. A particular mission of strategic importance. Pee-wee discovered that sitting out on the tail turret of a bomber is a great spot, because you can always see the enemy before he sees you. They also found out that the guy in the tail is protected by the finest all-steel armor plate in the world. They were ordered to attack an elusive Jap aircraft carrier. Once the target was sighted, every keen-eyed member of that crew swung into action. The pilots, bombardiers, the gunners at their stations. Well, they made it. Direct hits with those 600-pounders of TNT blowing up right in Hirohito's face. But then the real trouble started.
5-0's heading in. Man your stations.
Tails and pilots, level off. 2-0's heading in. Correction, 1-0 heading in.
That thick armor plate sure came in plenty handy then.
One and four motors are hit. We're losing altitude fast.
We're not through yet. One more trailing. Stand by.
It looks bad. They're just waiting for us to drop. I hope those gunners can hold them off. Gonna have to set her down. When she stops rolling, take cover.
Service Medal has been awarded by the War Department in the name of Congress to the following names. Corporal L.A. Williams.
Corporal Williams, it's an honor and joy to share this memorable day with you. War doesn't always allow us much time, so just let me say that I'm as proud of you as the crew members and crewmates whose lives you saved. I've had the pleasure of presenting medals to many gunners since this conflict began. But when the Army Air Force pays tribute to you, it also recognizes the heroic and brilliant work of the gunners who, since the beginning, have proved how indispensable they are in achieving victory. Their importance to the Air Force can never be stressed too much. Our pilots fly the planes. Our navigators tell them where to go. Our bombardiers bomb their targets. Those same gunners are continuing every day to help blast the enemy from the sky. But you are the men who bring them home safe. You gunners are the modern knights of fire, the administrators of life and death, an integral part of the greatest all-American team. You and thousands of intrepid, valiant gunners of the Army Air Force. With this Distinguished Service Medal, I wish you the best of luck. Thank you. God bless you all. Thank you.
This is a battlefront. A battlefront like no other in the long history of mankind's wars. This is an air front. The working day begins, as it will end, with the ground crews, as much a part of the fortress as her wings. If you're a mechanic, you've got your own bomber. You get attached to it. But you know when your ship goes out on a mission, you may never see it again. So you do your work as well as it can be done, perfectly, because you wouldn't want anything to go wrong that would be your fault. Today, the bombs will be taken from these bomb dumps somewhere in England and delivered to specific points in Wilhelmshaven, Germany. To deliver them is the job of the 8th Bomber Command, just a hauling job, yet one of the most difficult and complicated of military operations. General purpose demolition bombs, impact velocity as high as 750 miles an hour, pierce 5 inches of armor plate, destroy a factory. Briefing at 0800. Pilots, bombardiers, and navigators take their places. The group commander, Colonel Stanley Ray, steps up to the target map, and for the first time you learn where you're going. Sometimes your face turns white when you find out. Sometimes the feeling you won't come back tightens your insides. Not so long ago, you were sitting like this in a college or high school classroom, not listening too hard, perhaps even a little sleepy. But you listen here. And as you listen, you don't have time to think of yourself. Fear fades. You concentrate on the mission, type of formation, assembly point, 0 hour, route to target, weather, enemy fighters, enemy flak, route back home. If forced down in enemy territory, destroy equipment. If taken prisoner, give no information. Name, rank, and serial number. That's all. These are the passengers with one-way tickets. And this is the crew of the Memphis Belle, 324th Squadron, 91st Heavy Bombardment Group. Just one plane and one crew in one squadron, in one group, of one wing, of one Air Force, out of 15 United States Army Air Forces. Well, fellas, we've never had an easy ride over there yet. And today won't be any different. No escort except unfriendly. So keep your eyes peeled. Don't get excited and yell when you're talking on the intercom. Save your ammunition and make your shots count. And let me know what goes on back there, Quinlan. Yes, sir. Stay on the ball, gang, and she'll bring us back like she's always done. Okay? Let's go. They have completed 24 missions. In this, the toughest theater of air war, the big league of sky fighting. Their experience is priceless. And so, if the Memphis Belle comes back this afternoon, they will be sent to bring the vital lessons they have learned to thousands of air crew men in training at home. Home is America. This is a battlefront, like no other in this or any war. No monster armies, no booming cannon. Only the roaring engine sound of the bombers pounding through the quiet English countryside. This is an air front. Leave the Soylent for the 25th time. The friendly soil of England, with its ordered farms and rural hamlets, its country estates surrounded by formal gardens and well-kept parks. These Americans knew only from the classics they had to read in school. The England of the towns and cities, whose people have defended their island's freedom for over 1,000 years. But today, their countryside has changed. Today, their island has been converted into a gigantic bomber field, a super aircraft carrier anchored off the shores of Fortress Europe, with hangars and machine shops, with hundreds of dispersal points, perimeter tracks, and concrete runways. This is England in its 5th year of war. And this is the new battlefront, the air front, from which we seek out the enemy. Not his infantry or his artillery, not his panzer divisions, but the greater menace, the industrial heart of his nation, the foundation on which the Nazi Empire and its armies stand, the power behind the German lust for conquest. The steel mills and refineries, shipyards and submarine pens, factories and munitions plants, pinpoints on the map of Europe which mean rubber, guns, ball bearings, shells, engines, planes, tanks, targets. Targets to be destroyed. And these are the destroyers, each with a belly full of bombs, and 10 men like the crew of the Memphis Belle. Pilot Captain Robert Morgan, industrial engineer from Asheville, North Carolina. He's flown this ship across the Atlantic. The other pilot, Captain Jim Verinis, business administration student at the University of Connecticut. Radio operator and gunner, Sergeant Bob Hansen, construction worker from Spokane, Washington. Navigator, Captain Chuck Layton, chemistry student at Ohio Wesleyan. Engineer and top turret gunner, Sergeant Harold Locke from Green Bay, Wisconsin. Used to be a stevedore. Besides keeping the Belle in order, he covers the sky above. Tail gunner, Sergeant John Quinlan of Yonkers, New York. Clerked for a carpet company, but he quit December 8, 1941. Ball turret gunner, Sergeant Cecil Scott. Pressman for a rubber company in Rahway, New Jersey. Pilot to crew, 10,000, put on oxygen. They're climbing higher now, 300 feet a minute. The strain on the planes and on the men is mounting. The rest of the crew, Bombardier Captain Vincent Evans, operated a fleet of trucks in Fort Worth, Texas. Waist gunners, on the right, Sergeant Bill Winchell, chemist for a paint company in Chicago. And on the left, Sergeant Tony Nastal, used to repair washing machines in Detroit when he was a kid. Now he's 19 and has 2 Nazi fighters, confirmed. It takes all of a pilot's strength to keep a 30-ton fortress in tight formation. But the formation is the bomber's best defense against enemy fighters. The planes are deployed to uncover every gun, stepped up and down, echelon to the right and left, arranged to overcome the danger of gunners firing into friendly ships, arranged so concentrated cones of fire from the caliber 50 machine guns cover the sky for 1,000 yards in every direction. The friendly coast of England slips by below. It doesn't look like much now, but in a few hours when you come back, if you come back, this will be the most beautiful view in the world. Higher and higher, climbing to reach your best operational altitude, 25,000 feet. 5 miles straight up. So high you can't be seen from the ground with the naked eye. So high that after 1 minute without oxygen, you lose consciousness. After 20 minutes, you're dead. From now to the target, you go about your routine duties, plot your course, check your equipment, and wait, and think. Higher and colder. Temperature, 40 degrees, below zero. Take off your glove and you loosen fingers. You look out at the strange world beyond, reflections in plexiglass, like nothing you ever saw before, outside of a dream. Higher and higher into the lightless stratosphere, until the exhaust of the engines mixing with the cold, thin air condenses and streams the heavens with vapor trails. they're far from beautiful, for they point like beckoning fingers to the formation, signposts in the sky for the enemy to spot us. For these bombers to accomplish their mission, a plan is needed. Carefully worked out, timed to the minute. The job is to bomb Wilhelmshaven effectively and economically. The enemy is strong, skillful, determined to stop us. Here are his defenses. Airdromes, well dispersed. Each plane indicates a Stapo, or squadron of fighters. Heavy anti-aircraft, highly trained and accurate, all along the coast and defending his vital installations. Radar to warn him of our coming. Here is our plan to divide his defenses and weaken his opposition. At 13:30 hours, shortly after takeoff, 6 groups of planes will be heading toward the enemy coast from 6 directions. The Blue Force, 100 B-24 Liberator 4-engine bombers. The White Force, 300 B-17 Flying Fortresses. The Green Force, 300 B-17s with an escort of 6 squadrons of P-47 Thunderbolts. A force of B-26 Marauders, twin-engine medium bombers with 6 squadrons of RAF Spitfires escorting. Almost 1,000 planes and over 8,000 men in the air. The enemy alerts all his airdromes. But which is our main force? What are our targets? Where should the Nazi controllers send their fighters? It's our job to make them guess, and guess wrong. A half hour later, at 1400 hours, the Blue Force will be heading east across the North Sea with the White Force following. These enemy fighters are tied down, waiting to meet them, and will not be able to attack the Green Force. These fighters must come up to attack the Green Force, and thus will be no threat to the Blue and White Forces. The B-26s and Spitfires will bomb and strafe a key rail junction, diverting these 6 Staffeln and preventing the enemy from concentrating too many fighters on the Green Force, which is scheduled to bomb an aircraft factory at Hanover. At 14:30 hours, the Blue Force will threaten this entire coastal area of northwestern Germany. Which target will it be? Flensburg? The Kiel Canal? Or will it turn suddenly and bomb Hamburg, Wegesack, or Emden? Actually, it carries no bombs at all. It's a decoy and keeps the fighters from the northern area busy while the White Force, the main effort, heads for the submarine pens of Wilhelmshaven. At 1500 hours, while the White Force is over its target, only a fraction of the available German fighter strength of the area can intercept it. Because of the Blue Force diversion and the simultaneous bombing of Hanover by the Green Force. This is the plan of battle for today, drawn up by the Combined Operations Planning Committee and approved by the Commanding General. The White Force, lead group, low squadron. We've crossed the invisible line of enemy radar. The Hun is expecting us. Steel helmets go on. Watchful eyes strain. Tight formations are held tighter still. Tense gunners more alert because here it comes. The enemy coast. From up here, it looks the same as any other. Houses, roads, green fields, factories, waterways. But they are the houses and fields of those who invade and oppress. They are the factories and roads of the people who twice in one generation have flooded the world with suffering. Suffering in such quantity as the history of the human race has never known. Brought torment and anguish into countless American homes. Gold stars and telegrams from the War Department. The first flak, just harmless looking, silent puffs of smoke. Only each puff is a shell exploding, throwing shrapnel around the sky. Exactly the range, accurate flak by radio prediction. 5 miles down, Nazi anti-aircraft batteries have calculated the altitude, speed, and course. Where will the next one hit? You try not to be there. The docks and submarine pens of Wilhelmshaven. Approach to the target starts. No smoke screen can protect it. Now the enemy knows the path of your approach and walls that path with a flak barrage. But you fly right through it. Flak so thick you can get out and walk on it. Morgan changes course every 15 seconds. Evasive action to confuse the flak batteries. Bomb sight set for correct altitude and speed. Bomb bay doors open. The bombing run begins. Pilot to Bombardier. Okay, Vin, you've got it. Now Evans flies the Memphis Belle, controlling it through the bomb sight. And now we are most vulnerable. Committed to our bombing run, we can't dodge flak or fighters. Here's the first. Top turret fires at him. Evans must ignore the battle. Crosshairs lined up on target. Adjustments for wind drift made. 2 more fighters diving from 9 o'clock. Flak now has the range too. They've hit this fort, but he keeps on his bombing run. As lead bombardier, Evans's aim must be good. Every other ship in the group will drop its bombs when he drops his. Now one pointer on the bomb site moves toward another stationary pointer. The instant they touch, bombs will release. Bombs away. First half of the mission is over, the easy half. Now to get home. The flak stops. That means fighters out there somewhere. A staffer lurking behind that cloud, or hiding up in the sun where the glare blinds you, and you can't see them, waiting to dive down on you. Fighters at 6 o'clock. This is what a gunner sees. A speck in the sky. That's a fighter. And then a blink. That means he's firing at you. 2,300 rounds a minute. In a running battle, one of the most important instruments is the interphone.
There's 4 of them. 1 o'clock high.
They're coming around. Watch.
Fighters, 6 o'clock up, coming in. Diver now, Chief.
B-17 in trouble out at 2 o'clock, watching.
Got an engine on fire.
There's 2 more diving through the 94th.
3 planes, 9 o'clock, coming around. Keep your eye on the boy.
Coming around to 10.
Watch him, Chuck. Keep your eyes open.
They're breaking 11. Breaking 11.
I got him.
I got those two at 2 o'clock.
Watch him, Scotty. I got my sights on him.
Check that B-17, Chuck. 3 o'clock. Motor smoking. Fighters 10:30 coming around.
Those 10:30 upper or lower? B-17 out of control at 3 o'clock.
Come on, you guys. Get out of that plane. Bail out.
There's one. He come out of the bomb bay. Yeah, I see him.
There's a tail gunner coming out.
Watch out for fighters. Keep your eye on them, Bill.
See any parachutes, Quinlan? 2 parachutes.
Flag at 9 o'clock. 8 men still in that B-17.
Come on.
Get out of there.
There's 3 more chutes. Flag, 11 o'clock.
Fighters, 6 o'clock.
ME-109 at 3 o'clock.
Keep after him, Winchell. I see him. I'm on him. Come on, you. I got him.
Quinlan, confirm that fighter.
He got him, Chief. Look, he's bailing out.
Don't yell on that intercom. Fighters, 10 o'clock.
Watch those 2 at 12, Ben. They're coming in.
They're coming in, Scotty.
Get that ball turret on him. Save the ammunition as much as possible. Watch that fighter coming in at 3 o'clock.
He's coming in a half roll. Pull her up, Chief. Pull her up.
This fortress is hurt. Engine on fire, losing airspeed and altitude, drifting into the flak, alone and helpless. A straggler. In a minute, Nazi fighters will swarm in like buzzards for the kill. You can watch, but you can't go down to help. You keep your formation.
Here, too, the mission is being flown. None the less real for being in the minds and hearts of these men behind. Ask anybody who's been to a field in England, or anywhere else our bombers are based, and he'll tell you that there's drama here, too. Waiting to see who's coming back. To watch them, you might not realize how tense these ground crews are. But they are tense, and plenty worried. In Air Force talk, this waiting is known as sweating a mission. These men know the flight plan. Their watches told them when the bombers were running into enemy flak, when they were over the target, when they left the enemy coast. And now their watches tell them the bombers should be nearing the field. Every ear strains for the first sound of the engines. And then somebody hears them. And somebody sees the first faint specks in the distant sky. Every face turns to see and count. The watchers try to read the numbers on the ships. These planes have priority to land first. The colored flares mean wounded aboard. In the hospital window, these watching men know what that means. They know what it feels like to lie on a bouncing fortress floor for hundreds of miles through the frozen stratosphere in great pain, with the other men in your crew fighting to keep you alive until they hit the field. The field. Home. It'll be okay then, because there'll be medical care. The best, as soon as the wheels of your plane stop rolling. .20-millimeter cannon shell exploded in his radio compartment. Shock. Internal injuries. He'll be all right, though. Flak burst scattered flying shrapnel. He's full of steel splinters. This pilot's leg is not a pretty sight. Neither are the docks at Wilhelmshaven. These men will all get the Purple Heart. And this man, too, posthumously. A transfusion right in the plane. This gunner's too weak to be moved. The new life-giving blood flowing into his veins might be the blood of a high school girl in Des Moines, a miner in Alabama, a movie star in Hollywood, or it might be your blood, whosever it is. Thanks. 36 planes left this field this morning. Now 6 more arrived. That makes 20 home. And this one's 21. More wounded aboard. .22, coming in with his left inboard engine dead. .23, with a feathered prop on his left outboard engine. 24, Southern Comfort, with a chunk of tail gone. 25, they flew home on their luck. 26, not a scratch. The control tower learns that 2 more landed at a British field to the south. 1 a crash landing, crew safe. That makes 28. 29. A rough landing, but her pilot's badly hurt. It's a wonder he brought her back at all. 29 planes back, so far. 29 out of 36. Our losses were heavy, but the enemy's were far heavier. We destroyed a German aircraft factory, a rail junction, submarine pens, docks and harbor installations. That's specific, known damage. But who can tell the number of German torpedoes that will not be fired? The number of our convoys that will get through now? The soldiers and seamen's lives that will be saved? Or the battles that will be won instead of lost because of what these bombers and airmen did today? Pilot and tail gunner. They can laugh now. Fire on the inboard engine did this. Flames streaked back and burned the stabilizer, too. Another crew luck brought back. Here's old Bill. A pretty good airplane when it took off. Lost its nose, lost its navigator, bombardier wounded, top turret gunner and pilot hit, hydraulic system shot out, no brakes, no flaps. But old Bill came back. Now, among the returned crew members, talk flows like a river, talking out every detail of the mission. These are the faces of combat, faces of Americans who have watched their comrades die, faces that can never forget the enemy, and they're in no mood to have their picture taken. In the control tower, Colonel Ray, the group CO, is still watching and waiting. And then he spots the last flight. 3 more planes. And one of them is the ship everyone has been pulling for.
The Memphis Belle. The last few miles of this trip have been a joyride. The strain is over. They can leave their guns now. Now they know they're going to go home. To Spokane, Green Bay, Asheville, Detroit, Chicago, Fort Worth, and Yonkers. The Belle comes in for her landing. But first Morgan buzzes the field, cuts the grass with the giant fortress. It's against the rules, but this is a special occasion. of the Memphis Belle come back to the soil of England for the 25th time. This is a day they will never forget. Another great day soon after, Brigadier General Hansel visited the field and presented the Distinguished Flying Cross to every member of the crew. And then there was another day. Their Majesties, the King and Queen of England. Johnny Quinlan never thought anything like this would happen to him when he left Yonkers. The ground crew were a little self-conscious about being dressed in fatigues, but the Queen thought they were very nice. Finally, two more visitors came. General Acre, commanding the 8th Air Force, and General Devers, U.S. commander of the European Theater. The Belle crew received them in flying clothes. As General Acre read the order for their 26th and most important mission, return to America to train new crews and to tell the people what we're doing here, to thank them for their help and support, and tell them to keep it up so we can keep it up, so we can bomb the enemy again and again and again until he has had enough. And then we can all come home. The 8th Air Force, who are now flying deep into Germany, bringing destruction to targets almost 1,000 miles from their bases. Destruction like this. And who have never once been turned back by the enemy.